Hey, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel, and thanks for tuning in to this week's fishing report. As usual, guys, if you use any of the guides or resorts mentioned in today's report, please let them know you saw them on Livin MN Outdoors. And with that being said, let's dive right into this week's fishing report. Unfortunately, all the way around, the walleye bite has gotten pretty tough out there. But we'll start out on Leech Lake this week and go from there. Now, as far as the walleye bite out on Leech Lake, they are still getting them on the weed lines in that 7 to 12 foot of water. It does work best if you have forward facing sonar and you can pick those fish off one by one. Otherwise, it can be pretty tricky to find those fish in the weeds. Now, they're also finding some fish out on those main lake humps on the rock in 12 to 22 feet of water. Midday, more of that 18 to 22 foot of water, and then early morning and late evening, move up closer to that 12 foot mark on those rocks. Now, some of the best ways to catch those fish: slip bobbers with a leech or half a crawler, otherwise still pitching a 1/16 or 1/8 ounce jig with half a crawler or a medium to large leech. And then some guys are pulling Lindy rigs or bottom bouncers and having some success that way as well, tipping it with either a leech, half a crawler, or a fathead. Now, I did get a report that in Traders Bay, they are still catching some fish in the late evenings into dark, trolling number 5 or 7 crankbaits in that 8 to 12 foot of water around in Traders Bay. Now, the name of the game with that is cover water. Troll those crankbaits in that 2.0 to 2.6 mile per hour range and just cover as much water as you can in that 8 to 12 foot, and you're going to run into some walleyes. Now, as far as the perch bite goes out on Leech Lake, it has been extremely tough to find any numbers of perch. Every once in a while while fishing walleyes, you'll stumble into a couple, but otherwise they are very scattered. Now, as far as the panfish go, quite a few really nice bluegills being caught, shallow weedy bays, 5 to 9 foot of water. They're catching them on slip bobbers with a chunk of a crawler, a smaller leech, or a tiny jig head with a little minnow profile plastic. Now, as far as the musky bite goes, they're seeing a lot of fish following, but not a ton of them actually eating, finding those on those shallow main lake rock points or on the weed lines. Now, some of the better baits to throw for those muskies is small bucktails, jerk baits, or even some topwater has been getting some fish to react. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass bite goes, for the rest of the summer, those smallmouth are going to be out on those main lake rocks, that 6 to 18 foot of water, wherever you can find big chunky rock or secluded boulders. That is going to be holding the majority of those smallmouth. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake, Acorn Hill Resort, they have a beautiful spot on Traders Bay. They have seasonal sites, cabins, full barn restaurant, dock slips, tons of activities for the kids, and they do have some 4-bedroom cabins available the week of July 12th through the 19th. And if you book one of those for whether it be a couple days or a full week, if you mention the Livin MN special, you will receive 25% off of those cabins, but it must be within that July 12th to 19th. So if you're looking to get up to Leech Lake and need a place to stay, go ahead and call Kyle at Acorn Hill Resort. Also want to remind you guys, Acorn Hill Resort will be hosting Muskie Camp later this summer, August 9th through the 16th. That includes guide trips, guide seminars, lodging, meals, the whole works. They provide it. So if you want to learn more about Muskie Camp at Acorn Hill Resort, give Kyle a call and get that on the books. Now, if you're looking for a guide up on Leech Lake, we are working with Parker from Davis's Guide Service. Whether you want to fish on Leech Lake or in the local area, whether it be for walleyes, panfish, bass, whatever it might be, Parker can help assist get you on those fish. So if you're looking to get up to Leech Lake with a guide, go ahead and give Parker a call from Davis's Guide Service. All right, now moving over to Lake Winnie. I would say out of the three main lakes, Lake Winnie is a little bit better than the other two, but not much better. The walleye bite has significantly slowed down. They're dealing with some mayfly hatches just like over on Leech and Mille Lacs Lake, and the mayflies are not helping the situation. Now, the main areas that they're finding the majority of the fish are out on the main lake humps, especially if there's a few humps together. That's 22 to 28 feet of water is holding the majority of those fish. They're catching them on a three-way rig with a spinner, and with their weight being on a fairly short lead, anywhere from 12 to 24 inches long. Now, bottom bouncers will work as well, but the three-way rigs seem to outperform the bottom bouncers. Now, as far as what color spinners to use, as long as it has white in it, that has been working best. Wonder Bread, Plain White, Bloodline, any of those spinners with white has been outproducing all of the other colors. Now, what to tip those spinners with? A fathead has been outproducing all the other baits, so if you're gonna pull spinners, make sure you have fatheads in the boat. Now, some other areas you can find those walleyes, especially early morning or later evenings, is in Tamarack Bay and Dam Bay. Pulling spinners on those first breaks in that 10 to 14 foot of water. Once again, tipping it with a fathead or possibly a half a crawler, and you're probably going to run into some nice walleyes on Tamarack Bay. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, they have been picking off a few perch mixed in with the walleyes, but nothing real significant. They are very scattered out there and pretty tough to target. Now, as far as the panfish go, the bluegill bite has been the star out on Lake Winnie. Remember, the limit has dropped to 5 out there, but up in Tamarack Bay, if you can find pencil reeds, more than likely there's going to be some really nice bluegills in there. A slip bobber with a chunk of crawler or a smaller leech is working best for those. And then late in the evening or very early in the morning, they are picking up a few crappies in those reeds. Throw a slip bobber with a crappie minnow or a small jig with a minnow style plastic, and you might catch yourself some really big crappies. Now, if you're looking to book a guide up on Lake Winnie, we're working with Scott from Zups Guide Service. He is the premier walleye guide on Lake Winnie and the surrounding areas. So if you would like to get up to Lake Winnie, catch some fish, learn the where, when, why, and how, go ahead, give Scott a call from Zups Guide Service. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Lake Winnie, the Pines Resort has campsites, cabins, full barn restaurant, dock slips, boat rentals, the whole works. They do still have some cabin availability throughout July and August. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie this coming weekend or in the future, go ahead and call Chad from the Pines Resort. All right, now moving over to Mille Lacs Lake. I would say out of the 3 lakes, Mille Lacs is probably experiencing the toughest of the walleye bites. Not a lot of action happening out there as far as the walleyes go, unless you want to catch a lot of those really tiny ones. Some guys are finding fish in that 18 to 26 foot of water on the rock and rock to mud transitions, but it is extremely tough out there right now. Now, another good option would be is pulling lead core over the mud flats, number 5 or 7 crankbaits in perch, crawfish, or purple iridescent, and you might pick off some really nice walleyes out on the Mille Lacs Lake mud flats. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass bite goes, still a significant number of smallmouth up in shallow, that 6 to 18 foot of water, but specifically over on the west side, the reeds are still holding some of those fish in that 6 to 10 foot of water. And then out on the rock points, or some of them rock bars on the west side have been holding decent numbers of those fish as well. Now, best ways to catch those smallmouth, still a Ned rig or a drop shot is the best way to catch them. Although if you can get out there on a calm day, the topwater bite has been pretty dynamite as well. Now, as far as the perch bite goes out on Mille Lacs, they're still catching some pretty nice perch in that 20 to 30 foot of water. Like the walleyes, that mud to rock transitions or out on the mud flats is holding a ton of those nice perch. Getting them on a slip bobber with a medium to large leech, or you can pull a bottom bouncer tipped with a fathead or a leech as well. Now, as far as the muskie bite goes out on Mille Lacs Lake, I've still been trying to contact as many people as I can about the muskie bite out there. Everybody is telling me that it is extremely tough. Not seeing a lot of fish, not getting a ton of follows, especially not getting a ton of bites. Not really sure where they're at, although I would suspect if you can find the big schools of tulibies, those muskies will not be far behind. Now, if you're looking to book a guide up on Mille Lacs Lake or the surrounding area, we're working with Joe from Keeper's Guide Service. He really has those perch and smallmouth dialed in out on Mille Lacs Lake. Or if you want to catch some walleyes on some of those smaller local lakes, he has those dialed in as well. And when booking a trip, if you mention a shore lunch special, you can get a free shore lunch for a 6 or 8 hour trip with Joe. So if you're looking to get up to Mille Lacs Lake with a guide, go ahead and give Joe a call from Keeper's Guide Service. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's fishing report. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you could, send us some pictures on Facebook or to our Gmail. Remember, be kind at the boat ramp, be respectful of other fishermen, don't crowd your neighbor, and most importantly, don't forget to get on out there and get living.